Hi everyone, welcome to Three Cups Tarot, readings to uplift the collective. And today I wanted to offer a pick a card reading for April. And this is a little different than other pick a card readings that are out there. I think I'm trying something new. So the intention here is that you can come back to the reading multiple times in April, not just at the start or whenever you find this. And the idea is hopefully that, let's get Mocha out of the way, baby. The idea is that you will be attracted to different stones, different crystals and cards each time that you come back. I got inspired to do this because I noticed that with other monthly pick a card readings from readers I follow, I would be attracted to one pile at the beginning of the month and a completely different one in the middle of the month as the month went along. So I wanted to kind of see if I could just integrate this into a reading. So this reading is for April. Whenever you find this, April 2025. You can even be watching this like retrospectively after the fact. And so I would say whatever crystals you're drawn to now, watch those messages, and then if you happen to remember this reading or it pops up in your feed again later in the month or even after, then that would be a sign for you that there's another message and it's the right time for you to go back and either revisit the first one you watched or pick a new one. So this will be kind of fun, and I hope that if you feel comfortable enough, you can kind of share how it went for you and in the comments, and so I can get an idea if this is a good idea to continue or not. But I will leave you to kind of reflect on the options here. I'll leave the names of the crystals and the shapes where I can, and just take as long as you need to see where you're being drawn to right now. These will be very short readings, maybe 5 to 10 minutes each. And I'll see you in your reading or readings ahead. Hello reading one, so you were drawn to the Sodalite turtle, and let's see what your first card is. The Three of Pentacles. With this arrow is the first thing I noticed, and I kind of love that it's pointing right at the oracle deck that we're going to be using. The Three of Pentacles indicates workspace, collaborations on a project, building something in partnership with others, and acknowledging and recognizing that you need to work with others to accomplish something that you are working towards. So let's get your oracle card in here. The Crow and Dogwood Intelligence, number 16. So I'm getting the message that on some kind of collaboration project or workspace, kind of teamwork situation that you're in for April, your advice is to recognize and draw upon the different intelligences of the different members of that team. In a sense, I get the message that you are being asked to become a leader, in the respect that you are aware of how everyone can best contribute to the team, how they work together as a team dynamic, and how you can all kind of harness that to get to this next step on a goal of a project. So I'm going to pull 3 tarot cards to see what additional information we can get on this, or guidance, of course. Okay, so we're getting Death in Reverse, the 6 of Swords, and the 5 of Swords. So if there's been some kind of divisive dynamics before, you're being asked to help put an end to that. And with the Death in Reverse, I get the sense that this change or this end to those existing dynamics isn't going to happen on its own. It kind of takes the hand of someone to influence it that way. And I feel like that's you. You have something that you can offer to help change the direction of these dynamics, put an end to the kind of toxic or unproductive ways people have been working together, relating to each other. With the 6 of Swords, this might mean having to depart or cut ties with one or more team members. You might have to split the team into 2 or more sections so that it can work better. And with the 5 of Swords, I really feel like it's possible for everyone to win in this situation. The 5 of Swords is typically a message of like people locked into a win-lose situation. But I feel that you have a chance to change kind of like the game board that people are playing on so that it can end up in a win-win situation. But separate side note, if you are feeling like you're in a win-lose situation, then use your discernment to protect the integrity of the team. This goes back to the cutting ties message. And in the gentlest way possible, the one who loses in this situation should be the one that is affecting the integrity of the team. And it just needs to be a simple departing of ways. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. Yeah, so some interpersonal connections and relationships to navigate in the workplace in that sense. Let's get one more message. Dark Spirit Moon Void, number 2. You have a blank canvas when this action happens. You have a fresh energy to continue in this team dynamic And so the possibilities are open when the team is arranged in the way that it needs to be able to function well together, to work well together toward some common aim that you have. And it might mean that the outcome that you had originally planned for with the original team, it might mean that that changes, but that's okay because the original intention is still there. So for example, if you are trying to say build a program in your corporation or in your institution, and it was hitting some challenges with the original team, especially with the team dynamics. Once the team is kind of like sorted out into its separate groups or cut ties with certain team members, and the energy is fresh and ready to move into this new creative space, then the program would still happen, but it might have a different structure or shape or flavor to the way that it comes into being, or the way that it exists in the institution or the corporation. But that's okay because I feel that it's an even better version or iteration of that outcome than you had initially intended or planned for. So I do see success here, and it just kind of means working with the team dynamics in April. And I'm wishing you the best with that. Please watch another reading if you are drawn to it, and feel free to come back to this reading if you need more guidance in April. Hi reading 2, so you were drawn to this Afghanistan jade pillar. Oh, this is the turtle from reading 1 still here, so you might have a message in reading 1 also. Let's see what your first card is. It's the 6 of Wands victory card. Nice. So there's some point of success or victory, completion happening for you in April. And so let's get an oracle card to help explain that. And you're getting claim your weekend, leave everything else to Monday. So you are getting the message that something is going super well in April, but you're still throwing a lot of effort and energy at it. And there's a little bit of a warning here that you are approaching burnout. And so this is the time to take a long weekend, or just take your weekend period and go offline, which helps your brain go offline from this project, this work that you've been making good progress on, and just pick up again with it on Monday. I'm getting the sense that your guides are asking you to institute this in your daily practice as a regular, no mama, no. As a regular practice, no baby, she wants to be in your reading. You stay here, okay, on the side. So your guides are asking you to make this a regular practice to sustain your energy through the rest of this work, this project that you've been making such good progress on. So I'm going to pull some tarot cards to help bring forth your guidance and the rest of this message. How can our reading 2 be guided through April, wherever they've found this message at this point of time? So you're getting Knight of Swords in reverse, 2 of Swords in reverse, and 7 of Swords. Lots of swords. Swords bring us to the mental space. So this message, this initial message of potential burnout, it's interesting because we started with the wands, but then we followed with all swords. So this creative effort you've been putting forth is in a good place. But your mind might be left still working even when you leave the workspace or wherever, whatever like space you've kind of set aside to work on this thing. Your mind is still turning it over. That's how I'm feeling with the swords coming in here. And you could get to a point where that really actually hinders your progress, like I'm seeing with the Knight of Swords in reverse, right? There's such a speed to the upright version with the racer bike here, but with it in reverse, the thinking, the burnout, thinking to the point of burnout will actually throw some obstacles in your way and slow down your progress. Oh, you've got a bike twice. That's significant for you. So if you see a bicycle in like a significant way in your day-to-day life, that's a sign from your guides, bringing you back to this message to, you know, go out, have fun, enjoy. Maybe you loved riding a bike when you were a kid. Just reconnect to that sense of joy and free time to do whatever you want. Spend it however you want, including just going around the block riding a bike. Or if you haven't learned to ride a bike, it's the message is to, like, you know, invest some free time in like exploring and learning a new skill, doing something that you've always wanted to learn. There's time for that. There's time for you is what I'm hearing. It's almost like a little bit of a self-sacrificing energy or direction that's coming through here, and you don't have to sacrifice your own free time, your own social life for the project to still have success. It's actually like the contrary, that you should invest in your free time. You should reward yourself for the job well done, because everything's in a great place, and that will help sustain your energy levels for getting to the end. With the Seven of Swords, I'm seeing that like you're robbing yourself of your treasures, which is actually time, free time, spending time with people that you want to spend time with, going out and seeing something new. You're robbing yourself of that, and those are intended to be part of your life experiences. It doesn't have to be all towards this work, which I feel is like very much like a calling. This type of work, you're very passionate about it and you're putting a lot into it. It feels like your calling, and yes, it is, but it doesn't mean that you sacrifice the other joys of life to only work on that, because you're doing great and you don't need to do more than what you are doing for it to still be a success, for it to be your calling. With the Two of Swords in reverse, when you do get this rest, actually it will reveal some information that you're not seeing right now, because you're kind of, I get the sense like you're hyper focused on this work, and it's very productive because you're very focused, you're very streamlined on a certain goal, but there's actually, it's actually preventing you from seeing something on the peripheries that could help you and help elevate this project even more. So when you do get that rest and you kind of loosen your focus, then you get to see what's on the peripheries that is trying to get in. So let's end with one more card. I want to get this, it's called the Healing Angels deck. What is our parting guidance for our group number 2? Inner Space and Universal Knowledge, number 20. Oh, Ma. Yeah, and it's landing on top of that Two of Swords again. Do you see it's like a inner, it's like the third eye area, getting your downloads, your communication from your spirit team. It gives me the sense of going inward, like meditating and getting still and feeling comfortable within your own space, within yourself. And through that stillness, it opens up the universe to you. This is really going to help you actually in this project, this direction you're trying to achieve, this milestone you're trying to get to. So that is your message for April. If you're drawn to any of the other messages, please navigate there, and also please feel free to come back at any point in this journey when you feel like it's time for another message. You can go ahead and pick another reading there. And thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, comments. Hope to see you again soon. Hi, reading 3. So you were drawn to this Angelite stone, palm stone, and this is your card for April, the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So something in the area of your long-term finances, your financial security, long-lasting wealth, but also your career that you've been working towards. So let's see what this is speaking to. I'm actually feeling 2 cards coming through with this. So you have double mission, lightworker, star seeds, serve the world by being you. Ooh, and the golden children. Oh, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. Interesting. So you might be considering a career change, a redirect, some kind of shift in the work that you do in the world. It might feel impractical. People might describe it as impractical. That's now what I'm understanding with the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. You might be on a very practical streamline for success in your career. Maybe you're doing well in your job right now, or you're studying for one of those classic professions like doctor or lawyer, and so people wouldn't understand why you might want to shift that or give it up, but you've been feeling a calling. And I see it with both these cards. It's so cool that with the double mission, yes, this is part of your life mission to go down this path of in your career or your material achievement, but it's related to that bigger calling that you're feeling a pull towards. So I feel that you're at some kind of crossroads. I'm not sure that the pressure is there for you to decide on anything right now, but it's just something that keeps kind of tugging at your heart and your consciousness. I'm looking at serve the world by being you. I think there's something in this I keep wanting to say conventional path that makes it hard for you to express the real you or an aspect of the real you, and that's kind of what's putting you in this position of deciding between having to leave it completely or how to go forward in being you, how to embrace that the best. And so there's a bigger picture happening at here. You're a set of this group, the golden children. So you have a community that is part of that tug, that's that calling that's pulling you. It's actually because other people in your soul group that are here to do the same work, the same light work as you, are ready and are kind of all calling each other together in a more spiritual, if not physical world sort of way. And so it might be coming through in your dreams. It might just be coming through in peaceful moments in your day where you are still enough to kind of tap into this, but there are other souls you're connected to that you haven't necessarily met in the physical world, and you're all ready to start this calling, this mission that you have. It's so exciting, and I want to also just assure you that you can't really go wrong with this. So there's no deadline to apply, right? With your fellow golden children. Everyone will wait for each other for the right moment. It's just kind of an explanation from your guides that this is the process that's unfolding right now. That's so cool. Let's get some more guidance through tarot cards in this area. Ooh. Okay, I'm actually seeing 3 clean breaks. I'm going to get the top card from each of those. 7 of Swords, King of Pentacles, and Princess of Pentacles in reverse. So there's, with the Princess of Pentacles, it's kind of like a child energy, could be inner child as well. You're being called to step into the next level, to leave that mentality behind, like the novice mentality, because you're ready to step into the leadership role here. This is Pentacles still. This is still the physical world, so there is still a strong connection with the physical world. And carrying out this work here on Earth. You see with the Princess of Pentacles, it's almost like a, typically it's a coin, but it's almost like a seed or like an orb or an egg. I feel the sense of you like planting something and growing it, and you're ready to initiate this, to take it all the way that it needs to go. What's the 7 of Swords? With the 7 of Swords, it's kind of like the 7 of Swords actually came up in reading too. So if you're drawn to that, there's a connection there. And I feel a similar interpretation, that you are hiding something from yourself. You are hiding this skill, this insight, this intelligence, or this truth from yourself. But it's just there behind your back, and you can work towards revealing it as you get more comfortable over time. So I'm looking at this figure who has closed eyes, right? It makes me think of something along the lines that you recognize you had an ability or a skill when you were younger, and there's maybe misunderstanding around this and what it is, how it works. So for example, if you saw ghosts, spirits, very well, and then people told you it's all in your head, then you started to hide it from yourself. You started to tell yourself that it's all in your head. Something like that, where you realize that if you're ready to unlearn or undo those binds that were put on you socially, mentally, and emotionally as a child, you could really use that tool, that insight, that skill right now to work towards your purpose, your calling. I just want to say with the King of Pentacles and that decision, right, to kind of divert your path or ditch a path, I do see a convergence of what you've been doing to this point in the physical world. So if it's a conventional type of occupation, it does connect to your soul path. I'm feeling with this King of Pentacles showing up here, along with the Princess of Pentacles. So if you're looking for an answer, what I'm feeling is that you don't have to depart from this occupation. Actually, I feel like you're meant to use it as a tool and even change the occupation by being the real you. Change it for the better. So that's the message I'm getting right now for you for April. Feel free to come back, and if you feel like you are ready for another message, you might be drawn to another crystal. Even now, if you're drawn to another reading, I will see you there. And any likes, shares, subscribes are much appreciated, and I will see you soon. Hi, reading 4. So you are drawn to the moss agate merkaba stone. Let's see what your card is. The 2 of Wands, so cute. And let's get an oracle card to help qualify that. But the 2 of Wands energy is about visioning, for the next step, visioning for the future. It's really like a transition between the Ace of Wands and the Three of Wands. The Ace of Wands is getting that spark of an idea, and the Three of Wands is connecting with the right opportunity to start following through and putting the work into action, putting the idea into action. And with this Two of Wands in between them, it's kind of like getting clearer, more focused on what that actual vision is. It's that kind of precipice right before you start the work. And that's a really exciting time for you in April. So let's get, oh, well, I guess you can see that already with the cat highly focused on the feather toy. That focus is coming in as your key guidance during this time. So I want to say it this way: whatever methods that you know of that help you get into a focused state, schedule those, lean on those in April to get you through the Two of Wands step to the Three of Wands actionable items, say after April. April is all about really crafting out what that next step is. And so if you have a different way of getting into focus and sustaining focus, I feel is the bigger message here for April, then, you know, there's no one way to go about doing that. If you get really exhausted staying in a hyper-focused state or just a focused state for hours or for the whole day, then don't do it that way. Instead, allot yourself 1 hour each day, maybe the same time of day, to get focused, and then to, you know, put it on the shelf again, take a break. Or maybe you do better with a block of time, like 3 hours, where you can get focused, and then you take several 5-minute breaks throughout that block of time. And it doesn't have to just be like scheduling and time management. It could also be like things that help you, mind, body, spirit, get into the focus state comfortably in a way that you can generate ideas without it going into stress or overwhelm. So for example, maybe you go do a walk, a long 1 hour walk, and then your mind transitions slowly into focus, gradually and painlessly. This is really your message coming in, because it's not just the idea that has this prime time to be developed. It's also your habits around the way that you get into focus. It's almost like you're setting yourself up for success and for like your own personalized way of doing work for months, years to come, beyond just this project that's at hand. Okay, so let's get your tarot cards next to get some more information or guidance on how our group 4 can go forward with their message on focus and visioning, materializing an idea, taking a spark of creativity and turning it into their reality, producing it into existence. 9 of Cups, 2 of Pentacles in reverse, and the 9 of Swords. So this is a message for you to work with your brain rather than conforming to the norm. I feel like your brain just doesn't work that way, and it's okay. As your guides are saying, your focus doesn't have to be harmful, it doesn't have to be difficult. It's just a different version of focus. It's still focus for you. On the other end, it could be that maybe you get into a hyper focus, like too focused state, and it's hard to come out of, or it's very jarring to come out of that. Ultimately, the message here is like not to work harder or in a more difficult way, but to be gentler on yourself and your brain and your body and the way that you naturally work as an individual. The result will be so great. It'll feel less chaotic for you once you become more aware of the way you function and you accept that and work with it instead of resisting it or trying to be like everyone else. And there's great satisfaction and success in the end with this, with the 9 of Cups. You do ultimately find a sustainable way to continue doing your work in a way that doesn't drag you down or burn you out, and in a way that you feel fulfilled and satisfied and accomplished with what you have and what you've created. So that's so wonderful. Let's get one more. I feel like I want to get this card of advice for April. Wow, Throne, your potential is endless. I love pulling that card. That's actually the last card in this Oracle deck. So I take it as like the ultimate accomplishment, that recurring message of success, finding success in the end. And you see how each queen, each ruler is very unique and they have their own strength. And it's kind of like they've gained mastery over their unique strengths, abilities, the unique ways that they work. Your potential is endless, and it's just a matter of figuring out the way you work and supporting it, and you'll be on a direct line to the throne with that. So that is your message for April in this pick a card. If you're drawn to another one right now, then feel free to go ahead and pick up that message too. But if you find that you are somehow drawn back to this reading, or you need more guidance throughout April, come back and see if maybe you're drawn to the same reading, maybe a different reading, but you might have another message to pick up on throughout that month. And I'm wishing you the best with that. Thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, reading 5. So you were drawn to this Amazonite point or wand, actually. And let's see what your card is. The Knight of Pentacles. So sneaky. Going for what you want. Very strategically and slowly. So in April, your message is all about an action that you are in the middle of or planning to take. Or also a suggestion to take action slowly, methodically, strategically towards attaining something that you want to accumulate, something material, or some achievement that you have your eye on or you're going for. Whoa, you're also getting the Deer Note Healing, number 15. This is interesting together. And the first thing that kind of hit my awareness is that you might have your eye on signing up for like a workshop or a retreat that is kind of spiritually or holistically centered. Also can be very like focused on physical health. It has like a holistic component to it, and you've decided that you want to do this for your own healing, for you, out of love for yourself. And it's kind of just a matter of figuring out the logistics, manifesting the resources to do this. If it's that was one very specific example that hit me. If it's not that, it's something else to do with providing for yourself some sort of access or material thing. It could be like a medicine to do with physical, mental, or emotional healing. It's like you're ready to show up for yourself and do the work in whatever capacity that's falling. So let's continue and get some more guidance on your message for April for our group 5 who are taking strategic and slow action towards their healing in some way, pacing themselves to that healing energy. they're working towards. So you got a couple breaks, so I want to pull from both. I'm actually going to only pull the top card from each. So you have 2 of Discs. I often read this as physical or hormonal healing. And you have 4 of Discs in reverse. Yeah, I have to say that I am seeing similar message coming through again, that there is a treatment that you've identified that could help restore balance to you in whatever capacity that you're looking at. It could be like your hormonal, your physical balance. It could be chemical balance for cognition. It could be like mental, emotional balance, like emotional regulation. It could be also balance, restoring balance and health. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank now, so that's meant to be for you to fill in the blank of what balance means to your health. And you're feeling conservative, feeling reserved about your resources, and it's like you're questioning whether to make the investment in this. I'm getting real clear guidance that with the Knight of Pentacles, it should be yes, invest in this, but make it slow and manageable for your capacity, for your budget. So for example, ask about a payment plan, figure out a way that you can pay it over time in installments, piece by piece, maybe doing savings first, maybe taking from, insurance, or kind of getting creative with where the resources can come from apart from your regular income. That's the advice that's coming in for you, but your guides are encouraging you to take action towards this thing you've identified. Take your time, there's no rush. So if you're feeling like the rush to sign up really soon, this would be a message that you can wait for the next round. Do this at your own pace. Make sure that you're not causing like undue stress onto yourself by pursuing this. I want to finish with this oracle set here. Let me start over. Get in the zone. Okay, there we go. The good being worth. Number 41. Yeah, so the message, I feel like you could probably pick this up, is clear that you are worth the investment. You are worth the healing. Oh my gosh, you got deers again. It's such a gentle, sensitive showing up for yourself. If you see deers, that will be a sign for you, guiding you in the right direction with this action that you're taking, particularly with how to finance it. Deers will be a sign when they appear in a very significant way. So that is your message for April. And if you were drawn to another stone in the pick a card section, go ahead and I'll see you in that reading. But also keep in mind that as April's unfolding, if you feel drawn back to this reading, or if it pops up in your feed and you're drawn to it, come back and maybe you'll be drawn to a different crystal or back to this one to remind you of this message. Sometimes if you watch the same message, it might hit you in a different meaning as other things in your life have gone by. So yeah, please come back if you are drawn, and thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, and comments, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, reading 6. You were drawn to this stone, which I call like a obsidian tiger's eye. I haven't really been able to identify what it is. If you know, please let me know. And your card is, what is this? The 5 of Swords reversed. So the 5 of Swords is usually a situation of conflict, and because it's reversed, I feel like you've been locked in some sort of conflict. There hasn't been much progress either way, but that is going to change in April. There will be some movement towards an outcome, if not a resolution, with this card. And I'm feeling here, breathe. Oh, I'm pulling here, breathe, healing with your brain. It's another 5. So if you see repeating 5s, especially 2 5s, 55, that's going to be a sign for you regarding this situation. And it's going to be a reminder from your, I wanted to say guides, but angels came into the front of my reception. Is going to be a message from your angels to get centered, do your breathing exercises, and heal yourself. Breathe through the moments. It's making me think of like labor contractions and breathing through the pain, but also on an emotional, mental situation. This is also coming through as your guidance to breathe through these moments of transition, because the whole situation will be resolved on its own. You just kind of need to allow yourself, manage yourself as it unfolds on its own. You don't really have to do anything more than that, than take care of yourself and heal yourself with your breath. So with the tarot cards, you're getting 10 of Wands, 3 of Swords, and the World reversed. Yeah, more of these cards related to 3 of Swords is emotional pain that you carry. And it could be an old wound as well. It could be something in the present that's reopening the wound. And with the 10 of Wands, this is a burden that you've been carrying. So I really get the message for most people that this is some sort of guilt, some sort of pain that you've been taking on as your burden. And it's preventing you from ending the cycle. What is going to help you end this spiritual cycle that you are getting towards the end of is to let go of that burden, to release it as your responsibility. So that's coming in very abstract. It could be a sense of like an internalized sense that something is your fault, or something is your responsibility, even if no one told you to. It's like you carry that sense of responsibility, taking ownership over a situation that, you know, may not be yours to begin with. And so your big advice here is to just take care of yourself, breathe through it so that you can release that sense of responsibility that's not necessarily yours to carry. Yeah, this is a lot, but it's so supportive of you, this message from your guides. So you're also getting Earth Mother, surrender. Wow, number 43. I mean, there you go. Surrender this burden. Let it just flow out. And look, it almost looks like this Earth Mother is breathing, just like the breathing card too, right? I feel obligated to say, to point out, if you are being drawn to any of the symbols, or if any of the words or the numbers, the imagery is speaking to you, those are your specific messages. So listen to your own intuition as well in this reading, and then afterwards, of course. Yeah, you are about to release this cycle. You're about to open and awaken some level of your intuition. When you surrender this burden, then it's like your clarity, your eye, your intuitive eye can open, and it's like with the sun, it's like a whole new world is in front of you. So that is your April message. If you were drawn to another stone in the pick your pile section, I'll see you in that reading for another message. And then please remember, if this pops up again in your feed, or if you feel drawn to listen to another message throughout the month of April, then that means you have another message. It might be in another stone. You might be revisiting this stone, and the message might hit you in a different way. But with that, I'm going to send you off and wish you well. Thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, and comments, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, reading 7. So you were drawn to this amethyst wand, but I'm pretty sure I bought this as amethyst, but it's looking a lot like a fluorite to me. So if that's meaningful to you, let's just call this amethyst fluorite today. And your card is the 8 of Swords, I think. I always get confused with this deck. Let me just make sure. Yes, this is the 8 of Swords, and as I was looking through the deck to find what all the symbols of the minor arcana were, I just kept pulling major arcana and court cards, and there was no clues whatsoever with the minor arcana, and it was a little frustrating. And so I'm getting this energy, I'm incorporating that into your reading. I'm getting this energy with the meaning of the 8 of Swords, that it feels like everywhere you turn, it's not what you're looking for. Everywhere you turn, there's some kind of obstacle in the way, and it's so frustrating because you know the answer is there somewhere, but it's like, how many tries does it take before you get to encounter it? But eventually I did, and confirmed that this is the Swords. And so that's really an energy that you are working through in April, whether you're experiencing it right now, or you are trying to process it from maybe March or earlier. I feel the message coming here that just hang in there. Things will work themselves out. It's a really complex puzzle that you might be entangled in with the toilet paper here, but it does have its solution. I'm going to qualify that with a card from this deck. This one's coming out. I am gentle, kind and comforting to my inner child as we uncover and release the old negative messages from family and society. So some of your conditioning from growing up, some of the worldview that you inherited as a child is part of what's creating this complex tangle. It could be that something that you believe now doesn't match, or is in direct conflict or contradiction with something that you grew up believing. I heard the word indoctrinated, and it makes me think of religion and education, some of those formal institutions where we inherit our world views. So there's likely something from your lived experience that you are contending with, and a long-held belief, and belief that is possibly still accepted by your community or the people around you. And something about this belief has been difficult for your inner child, for you as a child, and now for your inner child. And so, of course, your message is to approach that with gentleness, kindness, caring, and comforting, because it's a very difficult tangle to get through, and it takes a lot of understanding, and I hear the word grace, a lot of grace and a lot of gentleness with yourself to work through that. But you will. So this is what's coming up for you in April. I'm going to get tarot cards to fill out this message. For our group 7, how can they be guided through these energies in April? Slippery. Okay. So you're getting the 3 of Sticks, the Queen of Sticks, and the 10 of Blades reverse. Beautiful. So 10 of Blades reverse is you getting to that finish line, releasing the pain. The 10 of Blades card itself is the finish line. It's the end of some sort of pain. It could be pain in multiple definitions. So it could be emotional pain, physical pains, psychological pain. You've kind of worked your way through it, and with the 10 of Blades in reverse, for me, I always take this as it's even the first step after the end of this cycle. So you really are at the end and you're emerging into your next stage, your next cycle, your next up level in your experience in this life. And there's a lot ahead of you with the 3 of Sticks, right? Looking out into the horizon, looking at the possibilities. Those possibilities, you can trust in them, you can believe in them. They are yours because you are ending this cycle. You are freeing yourself, even if it feels hard to believe because you've been in this possibly your whole life. Whatever this is, it could be, like I said, a worldview, a negative self-belief actually would come in strongly here too. Something about your identity and who you are in the world and what's possible for you that's changing in the best way, even though it's difficult and challenging to go through, because it means acknowledging the pain that the old beliefs had given you and the challenges of having to depart from that worldview and the people who are connected to it possibly. With the Queen of Stones, I'm really taking this in the healing aspect of the Pentacles. And the Queen of Stones is taken to be like one of the nurturers of the tarot deck. And so it's almost like this sense of mothering yourself. If you resonate with the idea of having a mother wound or a parent wound, you have everything you need within you to parent yourself, to nurture yourself. And in time, you will become so great at this. And I understand if that sounds sort of disappointing, but I can relate to having to learn to mother myself, and in some ways it's the best thing possible because now I'm always there for myself and I wasn't before, and that's something you need in life. You need to be there for yourself, whether as your own mother, your own nurturer, or something else. So I hope it helps to think of it that way, that it's more about you being there for yourself and meeting your needs and knowing that you can meet your needs yourself. You have everything within you, and that when you are nurturing yourself, you also are connecting to your higher self in particular, in addition to your spirit team, but mostly your higher self. And so in that way, it's like there's a team behind you. It's not just you. The Amethyst is also about healing, about reaching like some mastery level of healing. That's what you're doing in April by doing this work. It still feels like a lot. You're still doing the work, but just keep showing up for yourself and you'll see the world looks very different, possibly by the end of April. So I want to pull this healing card. Okay, we got 1, Trust in wise spirits and your prayer will be answered. Number 33. So 2 confirmations coming in here that all you need to do is communicate to your spirit team. If you do that through prayer, you are in communication with your spirit guides through this, your higher self included. They will be there for you. They'll be answering your prayers. And number 33 is like a master teacher number. And actually, I'm not remembering if I mentioned this, but I felt it with the Queen of Stones that you become like a master over this journey, and you do teach others eventually, and that's kind of the bigger purpose, the bigger point down the road, equal to you healing within yourself. So that is your April message, and I am wishing you well on that. If you're drawn to another stone in that pick a card section, I'll see you in that reading. And if you feel drawn throughout April to come back to this reading, maybe pick a different stone, maybe pick the same, then I invite you back, and hopefully you'll have a message there that helps you right at that moment as well. And thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, and comments, and I'll see you next time. Hi, reading 8. So you were drawn to this Larimar stone, and your card, let's see what it is the 9 of Wands. Is that right? I always struggle with this. Yeah, 9 of Wands. So the 9 of Wands, I don't think I can really see it in this card, but the 9 of Wands is typically about setting a boundary, defending yourself successfully, but kind of being at that point where you might lose energy, you might lose your persistence. It's getting to be a bit too much, but you do persevere through it. And it's typically a message of persevere. You're almost at the end of this challenge that you're encountering. So let's get an oracle card to see what that's about. Your life is a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative accountability. Interesting. So with the wands is about manifestation and like that creative energy. So you might have been working very long and hard towards a manifestation, and you're starting to feel like, is this going to happen? And so your message with the 9 of Wands is, yes, persist. You are almost there, and you have this open canvas coming towards you. Creative accountability is an interesting phrase. Actually, I feel like I want to pull in the book for you on that. Your life is a canvas. Wow, I think it's actually it is the final. It's the final card in the whole deck, so that's very meaningful. You are really reaching a pinnacle point, an end of your old life and the start of the new. I would say it's equivalent to like the world card, like a cycle completion, and anything is possible for you going forward. You're the artist of your life, and your life is a canvas. Take responsibility for your ability to create. Earth is known as a planet of manifestation. Your present moment is based on your past thoughts and beliefs. Your current thoughts determine your future. What kind of life do you want to create for the future? What are you being called to create? Reconnect with your manifesting power and align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the vibration that matches them. It's never too late to start, and no experience is required. All you need is an open heart and mind and consistent daily action. If you're not sure what you'd like to create, start instead with a feeling of deep gratitude for all that's good in your life right now. State out loud what you're most thankful for. Look for the good in your life, and one thing will be certain: you'll find yourself attracting more and more good experiences into your world. This card is inviting you to see your entire life as a canvas, and the picture is completely up to you. Color it with your thoughts and feelings. Create the life that you most long to live. You may also be called to be more creative in your everyday life. What have you been called to create? How can you express yourself more creatively? And the Starseed Soul Inquiry says, what are you being called to create in your life? So April is really all about you listening to the call, to your inner voice of what, in response to that question, what is it that you want to create in your life? Because it's here right now in April. It's so exciting. It's also making me think a lot about Aries, and so like Aries, there's a lot of April is Aries season, and then it goes into Taurus, which is very much a material. So Aries is more creative energy, and Taurus is more of a material kind of accumulating energy. And so there really is a quick turnaround, I feel like, between you manifesting or creating something and you accumulating around that manifestation very promptly. The Lovers in reverse. Ooh, funny that I mentioned the World and it came up. The World in reverse and the Hangman in reverse. Wow. So when you have all major arcana, it is big energy, a big life shift, less of the everyday sorts of changes, but this one is like on the a monumental, life-changing shift, shifts the direction of your life, and also like a soul shift. And it is coming in the area of cycle completion. You've really kind of closed out something that living a certain way that doesn't work anymore with this next phase of your life that would have been holding you back. You're more free at this point. And so the possibilities are also more expansive than you would have been able to imagine before. So the first message I'm really feeling is that you can't manifest this future with the mentality of the past. It feels a little bit uncomfortable, kind of like a baby deer walking, shakily for the first time. But you're kind of being asked to manifest on a grand scale for the first time, but trust yourself through this, because it'll all go really well. With the Hanged Man in reverse, it's kind of like the time is now. There's no more waiting. You have all you need to take this action. With the Lovers in reverse, I'm feeling this as choose yourself. Manifest for you and for no one else. So there might have been blocks before where you felt called to service and to serve others. And that would make sense. That would be the mentality that would limit you now. Now you're being asked to imagine the world in which you serve yourself as much as you naturally serve others. And yeah, that might be hard to do, uncomfortable at first, but you can do this. Ultimately, that's what's coming through. I feel like I want to pull one of these to end the reading. Oh, okay. It's definitely that one. Kindness. Wow. I really feel this is like kindness to yourself will spill over and proliferate into kindness for others, for your community, which is kind of at the heart of what you do anyways. So I hope that helps you kind of rethink the way you manifest in the world and the way you can show kindness to yourself. And incredible energies for April. So This is your message. If you're drawn to another stone in the pick a card or pick a pile section, then you will have another message there. Or if you find this reading or think of this reading again later in April, please come back and pick the same stone or another, see what you're drawn to, and see how that kind of helps you along at that stage in April. And I'm wishing you the best with that. Thank you for any likes, shares, subscribes, and comments, and I'll see you next time.